I've always been obsessed with becoming the best version of myself. It started around 7 years ago when I started reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, and they improved my life massively. I started a business, I started doing what I love, I genuinely do what I love right now. But still, sometimes I feel like something is missing. That there's something that makes me not always feel content, not always makes me feel this happiness and joy. If I'm honest, the real reason that I started personal development, and it might be the same for you, is that I wanted to shut up that voice of inner discontentment. I didn't like myself, I didn't like what I was doing, and I thought that by going to the gym, by starting a business, that I would solve this nagging voice in my head. But after all these years, that voice is still inside of my head, and it's probably in your head as well. And let me explain why. So we always feel like something is missing, and the real question is, why after achieving our goals, after achieving these things in the external world, do we still feel like a mess inside? Do we still feel like something is missing and we need to do something outside in order to feel happiness inside? And that's the question I asked myself a few months ago as well. And I started going deep into this rabbit hole, and that's what I want to share with you today. Because this is the big problem that we are all facing. That big problem is that we're never content with the present moment. We're never happy with how things are. We achieve a big goal and then maybe you are happy for a day and then you become unhappy again. You set the goal of finally reaching 10K a month, you reach the goal and then you're like, okay, doesn't really matter, I need to get to my next goal. And that's not a bad thing per se, but what you do is you let your happiness depend on that external thing of hitting the 10K a month, then you hit it, you're happy for a few minutes, a few days, then it subsides again. Maybe you're not even happy at all. You just hit it and you think about the next goal again. And that's what we do. We get into this continuous cycle over and over again. We hit a goal, we're happy, then we're starting to look for a new goal, we're unhappy again, and then we're not happy until we achieve that goal. And let me ask the question to you. Why do you want to achieve the things that you want? Why do you want to drive in the car that you want to drive in? Why do you want to achieve a certain kind of success in your business or in your career? Why do you want to achieve or get a certain kind of house? The only reason we want to achieve those things is because we think that it will give us a good feeling inside. So if we buy the house, then we will feel good, we will feel happiness, and that's when things really get solved. And let me repeat that to really get it into you. The only reason you want that car, the only reason you want a big business, the only reason that you want a big house is because of the feeling you think that it will give you. And I'm not saying that it won't give you that feeling. I'm just saying that it won't last. You will buy the house, you will live there for a week, you'll be happy, then you start thinking about another house to buy. You buy the car, you think it's absolutely amazing, and after a few months you think, but there's an even better car that's even more expensive, that has even more options. And you're in this cycle that never ends. So the real question becomes, is this the best way to live our lives? And it's not. We are stuck in a mental prison, in our own mental prison. For example, if you have a business, you started that business to become free. That's why most people start a business, to become free and be independent. But how free do you actually feel on a daily basis? That's the question I asked myself as well. I was at this event and the people there were two presenters, they asked the whole group of entrepreneurs this question. We were like 50 people in a nice room, and he asked us the questions, hey, who here started a business in order to feel free? So everyone raised their hands. And then they asked the question, but who here actually feels free? And then only 2 or 3 people raised their hands. And that shows you that we think that, or we do things for a certain kind of reason, but that reason is not always the right one. Go into that even further, like you're stuck in a rat race that will lead you nowhere. There will always be a next thing that you think you need in order to be happy. And the classic mentality, the 9-to-5 mentality, is get a good job, make promotion, buy a house, get a dog, marry your wife, and that's the thing to be happy. And what I see most entrepreneurs do is that they're sort of like shitting on that way of living. But the thing is, as entrepreneurs, you're exactly the same. There's no difference between the classic 9 to 5, and you. We entrepreneurs, we just have a different rat race, and it's build the largest business in our sector, it's go to Dubai, it's do all these kinds of things. And the thing that you have in common with that person in 9 to 5 is that you are placing your happiness on something external. So something external needs to happen in order for you to feel good inside. And that's why you're always setting yourself up for failure. Because the moment you hit it, that voice in your head comes, oh, but now we need this other thing. And you keep on desiring things, never actually being happy in the current moment. And why is that not the case? Because the outside world will never ever be exactly as you'd like it to be. Even if you're a billionaire, it's not always going to rain, or it's not always going to be sunny outside. And you can live somewhere that has a higher degree of sunshine, but it's not always going to be the way you want it to be. That's just how reality is. Reality is always changing, it's always unfolding. It will never be exactly as you want it to be. So wouldn't the easier task or the easier thing to do be just accept reality for what it is? Sure, you can have your goals, you can have your desires, but they shouldn't dictate how you feel inside. So by now, I hope I've made it clear to you that the outside things are never going to make us internally happy. Because those outside things, they will always change. There will always be a better car, there will always be a next goal in your business. Like you are always setting yourself up to achieve happiness only if you've achieved some external thing. But wouldn't the easier way be to just feel good inside? And then the question becomes, how can we actually do that? How can we feel good inside without being dependent on the external world? And that's where I'll tell you my story in this. For me, the starting point is awareness. Becoming aware that the desires you have will never actually make you happy. And that's what all the rich people are saying, is that once they solve the money problem, they still have the life problems. And the thing is, of course, you need to work on your business, your career, you need to put some hard work in, but you also need to understand that the reason you are doing those things is to achieve happiness. And that to achieve happiness, you don't need anything external. You can be happy inside right now. If I asked you, smile, be happy, you could actually do it, right? And you could feel this feeling of contentment inside. So why can't we all this? That's the big question. You don't need the new car, you don't need the new house, you don't need anything to be happy, because that's the lie we've been told to. We've been told this lie that we need a car to be happy, we need to hit 10k a month to be happy, we need to move to Dubai to be happy. And it's all bullshit. Happiness is something inside. If you look at little children, right? They are one of the most happy people we know. They don't have any conditioning, they don't have any thoughts about, oh, I need this car to be happy. No, they're just happy. Happiness is their natural state. And happiness is also your natural state. But you just need to get to it. And how I am on that journey right now is I'm becoming more and more aware of the patterns that are running me. And that if I have a certain goal and I'm feeling unhappy, then I just know, hey, I'm placing this goal as my happiness. And if I keep on doing that, I will never be happy. So sure, I can run after the goal, I can do the work in front of me in the best way possible, but it's not going to depend on my happiness. I'm going to let go of those desires, just do the work in front of me, and be happy right now. Because that's why I want to achieve all those things, because I think it will give me this feeling of happiness inside. But that's never lasting. It's only lasting if you achieve it from the inside. So I think the big challenge for entrepreneurs and for other people with big goals is, how do you balance this knowing of, hey, I achieve my happiness inside versus the things I want to achieve in the world. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now, is first have the awareness that all the goals you've written down, they're never actually going to make you happy. They're not going to give you lasting happiness. There's always going to be something in the world that will not be exactly as you want it to be. It could be that way for 80%, you control it, you'll never control it for 100%. Accept that as a first part, and then do the work in front of you in the best way possible. Because that's the only thing you can really do. You can go after all these goals, be anxious about it, but you just need to put in the work to the best of your ability. So let's end this video here. By now we've concluded that happiness is something you create inside. It's not something that gets created outside. It's only from the inside you create happiness. And the way you can achieve that state, the biggest thing for me, what has helped me the most, is meditation. Meditate once per day, 15 minutes, Just become aware of all the thoughts that you're having, of all the feelings that you're having, and then understand you are not that person. That's something we will go into later, but that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you've liked it, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.